Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and welcome to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got game 1 of a best of 3. It is between Welmu, the blue Protoss player in the lower left position, who is up against Snute, the red Zerg in the top right. The map is Daybreak, and well, it's going to be a PvZ. Now, the key bit of information about these two players that you all need to know is, of course, Welmu is no longer on EC. He has very recently switched over to Neurosoft, so big grats to him. Neurosoft is a great team with some really good players, actually, so I'm incredibly hopeful of Welmu's future results, what he's going to be able to do and achieve, and all in all, it should be pretty good fun to watch his progress. Snute, of course, everyone knows Snute after his Home Story Cup win, 4-0 symbol, and it was good that he got that win, to be honest, not only because he got loads of credit, he did well, but before that, he'd had such a string of second places in major tournaments, obviously, with the Thor Open, with the Ace of StarCraft Challenge, with Campus Party, etc. It was just one of those situations where if you're always coming second, it can be so demotivating and so frustrating more than anything else. So, obviously with the Home Story Cup win, great news for Snute. Now, what can we expect from these two this game? Well, straight away we're seeing the Welmu isn't going for the standard forward fast expansion or Nexus first, actually getting a gateway down, and we're seeing more and more Protoss players actually favour going for a 1-gate expansion against Zerg, as opposed to getting that quick Nexus down, getting the Forge, and really just walling off. And part of the reason I feel that's occurring is all down to how confident many Zerg players have got dealing with an Immortal Sentry all-in. As a result, they've got to try and switch it up and find other routes to do by getting this gateway out sooner, and as well as the gas way earlier. You're able to get warp gate tech at a lot earlier point. You're able to put on a slight bit of pressure, usually with, say, a Zealot Stalker, maybe 2 Stalkers, depending on how you want to play it. That puts some pressure on the Zerg. It prevents their third base coming down quite as quickly. It also potentially picks off a queen if they're not paying attention. And all in all, it can lead to a situation where actually the Zerg player is forced to make some units. And it doesn't delay your natural hugely, but does give you so much more aggression capabilities and harassment capabilities in the early games. So I personally really like the choice of switching to a 1-gate expansion. I think that it should work out well for Welmu, and Snute is going to have to put up some nice defense. He's going to have to make sure that he keeps the queen alive, because that is a real big target. If you can pick off a queen early on, it hurts the Zerg's production so much that it can be difficult if you go into the mid-game in a strong position from there. But as we're seeing from Snute, his spawning port already on its way down, so that is good news for the moment. He's got obviously his hatchery just coming up, a couple of drones on their way down there. The Nexus now down for Welmu, so he's got warp gate tech coming out. Interestingly, he does have this Zealot, so this Zealot is, and I say interestingly because you can skip it if you feel completely safe, but the Zealot just going to come over. It's not going to be able to do too much. There's already these 2 Zerglings on the way for Snute. He's got the double queen in production, therefore he's going to be able to hold that off. It's the follow-up, which as we can see from the gateway is a sentry. That sentry is much more defensive. If it was a Stalker, I'd definitely be saying the Welmu is looking to be aggressive. He's looking to poke, he's looking to prod. But because he isn't, then, well, all in all, it's really just a Zealot down here, checking for the third base to see if he can punish that, because of course, if Snute was going for a more standard timing, expecting a forge fast expansion, then he would have that third base down about 40 seconds ago at the latest. So that is good news. It's good play by Welmu. He's certainly looking at all of his different options and what he can achieve. But here, grabbing up that second and third gateway. So again, this is the great thing about this build. By going gateway first, getting that warp gate tech earlier, you can put on so much more pressure. Forge now completing the wall off. With the sentry there, everything is looking very comfortable. The natural nexus is now there. Snute getting up his third base, so all in all, he's not trying too hard to out-expand his opponent. He wants to be safe. These Zerglings aren't going to be able to get in, and this is quite a big commitment of Zerglings straight away. Clearly, Snute was expecting more pressure from what he scouted, and that's a fair thing to say. 10 Zerglings to respond to possibly a Zealot Stalker harassment or Zealot 2 Stalkers is a good move. The sentries are going to try and do some damage, and they will get a couple of Zerglings, but so far Snute is in an absolutely fine position. Notice the way he's taking up these rocks as well. It's a minor point that some people may miss all the way through, or in the lower leagues you may not see the relevance of this. But essentially what Snute is trying to achieve by taking up these rocks is to reduce the choke outside the natural of Welmu, and therefore should he push up, or rather should Welmu come and try and take a third and defend in this sort of area, Snute is able to apply more pressure, so he's also denying Welmu this third base for a little longer, should he want to take it really soon. But as we can see, the robotics facility on its way down, these 3 warp gates are allowing an awful lot of sentries to hit the field. Meanwhile, Snute, he's getting out his third hatchery. He's getting out the Roach-1 and he's getting out the evolution chamber. This is all standard timings. I mean, this Roach-1 came down at, what, 6 minutes 30? Ready to deal with some gateway pressure, which is a response directly to seeing these additional gateways here. It's ready to deal with the Immortal Sentry all in should it come. And as a result, Snute just gearing up the exact army composition he would need to deal with pretty much anything. The evolution chamber is now down. They are, of course, at 3 gas and the lair timing half finished. So everything looking quite standard there. We've got the +1 weapons on its way as well for Welmu. He's getting that Immortal out, chrono boosting it, not getting an Observer. He's clearly gearing up for a very, very quick Immortal Sentry push. The Sentry count getting really high. Yet another advantage of getting that gateway so soon and actually going for gate expand is that you get more sentries out earlier, and as you can see, this is banking up a lot of energy on them. But Snute, as long as he keeps these units here, keeps them in a forward position, he'll know precisely when Welmu decides to move out, and as a result should be quite comfortable defending it. We've got the +1 missile attack there, we've got the Roaches already in production, and 4 now additional gateways coming in. That takes us up to the 7, of course, so 7 gate plus the robotics facility, now 8 gate. This is very much a 2 base all-in out of Welmu. He can't expand and keep producing out of all these gateways. He doesn't have a forward pylon though, that is the only thing that could potentially be a problem. Snute doing a great job there, poking in and out, just checking with these Zerglings to see what's coming, and that is a fundamental that all of the Zerg players watching should always be thinking about. You've got to keep an eye here. You need to see when your opponent's moving out. These Zerglings should get a good little read out on the count of all the sentries. Sees the Immortals, that is the critical thing. And now Snute should react by getting a lot of units. And precisely at the time, there we go, we've got the 18 now Zerglings on the way. The Roach is already out. And as you can see, Snute moving forward. And you might be thinking, why is he moving forward? The purpose of that is, should this push try and come out, you want to engage it sooner rather than later. Because as long as you stop it here, you can force a lot of sentries to force field very, very early on, reducing energy, reducing the number of force fields you're going to have should the engagement hit you. And generally, Zerg want to engage in open space. You can get a better surround. Snute now losing that Overlord, could have put it over the high ground to prevent that. Obviously, with no Observer, there was no way Welmu could have spotted that. But now, holding this watchtower, getting a good look, getting the Zergling up there as well. Hang on, what's there? Getting a good count on all the units. Can I engage yet? He's trying to spread his units, pulling back for the time being. That's quite a sensible choice. Keeping a few units here ready for the complete surround. So that could be very, very effective indeed. But as we can see, Welmu not going to fall for that. Coming back, he's got the Warp Prism in here now as well for the very quick resupply. These Roaches do manage to get away. 3 force fields wasted straight away, and that may not seem like much, but every force field you force early is not one that's going to potentially cause you problems later. A good little surround gearing up here for Snute. He's getting the best engagement he can, but good force fields go down, preventing a lot of those units from coming in. And now Welmu just moves forward. He's ready for another warp in. He's got a good surround on those Roaches, but 2 of those Immortals go down exceptionally quickly. As we can see, the third one though is going to be fine because the rest of those Zerg units are getting cleaned up. But so many more Roaches in production. We've got more Spine Crawlers coming down as well, ready to try and aid the defense. The Infestation Pit is finishing up, but that is only going to matter as long as Snute can hold it for the moment. Drones getting pulled, they'll soak up some of the damage. The Roaches need to come in. The target, of course, is going to be that Immortal. Roaches trying to come in from behind as well for the moment, trying to pick off those rocks just to allow the units to get in as opposed to getting force fielded out. But well, the Warpins are relentless. Welmu is behind in supply, but so many Roaches. The Immortal does get focused down, and now with that falling, Snute is in a great position. Welmu's supply is tumbling, there's no room to escape with the Roaches behind, and there goes the GG for game 1. Snute doing a really good defense there. Welmu though also reading his opponent, trying to get a good engagement early on, and all in all he got a nice position and it was getting pretty close at times. So that was game 1, everyone. If you did enjoy, make sure you like the video, make sure you leave a cool comment, and make sure you subscribe. Then flick over to game 2. I will see you there any second.